So welcome to a new Game Stuff episode, and welcome to a special surprise. For my 50th birthday, Andrew came up, Kim surprised me during dinner. He just kind of walks in and I'm like, what are you doing here? He came up all the way from California to hang out. We are long-time friends, over 30, how many years?
37 this year.
37 years. We grew up in the same street playing video games, and I've never done this before. I'm doing a new Game Stuff episode with Andrew, because I said, hey, you know all the stuff that I've got. You've got some, fun things to say as well. I'll ask you guys, what have you picked up recently in the way of video games, merch, or anything like that? Let us know down below. And also, I just want to say, this is the last week for the limited edition shirts from Asian Shock. I'll put a link down below. It's a limited shirt. It's going to be gone after next week. So please grab one. For anybody who's already grabbed one, I want to say thank you so very, very much.
And they're really nice shirts, so do yourself a favor.
So the very first item I picked up, I've had it for over a month, and perfect for the Analog Duo showing up, is a little game here. It came from the desert. Now, what are your memories of this game? You probably played it on PC back in the day.
I think the first time I saw it was on an Amiga.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A friend from school had it, and a few of us went over, and it was a revelation at the time. I don't know that we'd ever seen, like, full motion video characters. Yeah. And it was like, oh, this is the future, until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't. And for me, I have a soft spot for this game, and a soft spot for the time. You're talking about the digitized characters. I couldn't believe I'm looking at the screen, and these characters are talking to you.
Let me show you my latest endeavor.
I know it sounds crazy. It was the closest thing to virtual reality at that time, and I was just hypnotized with it. The game itself is not the best, but it's just that time period of the Sega CD and Sewer Shark and all that stuff, and these digitized characters. This was a big thing, and it came out on the TurboGrafx. You saw it on the Amiga, and all of that.
And I actually don't remember anything about the game.
Yeah,
all I remember is the hype around the event itself. I couldn't tell you what the actual game was anymore.
No, it was based off those B movies from the 50s and all of that. With the characters in a small town getting overrun by ants and stuff like that. So really nostalgic game for me, and I had to get a box copy.
Well, now you have. Now you sure have.
So the next item, Kim got this for me for Christmas. I don't know, is this on your radar? Have you been playing this?
So it is on my radar on the PC, but I have not played it yet. So I literally don't know anything other than it seemed like it's pretty cool. And of course, we love RoboCop. So any chance to play a decent RoboCop first-person shooter, sign me up. Yeah, sign us up. And so Kim picked this up for me, and I was like, oh my God, first-person shooter with RoboCop? We're from the 80s. We grew up with RoboCop. We absolutely love the over-the-top violence and humor of it. So this is a game that's really tailor-made for us. Okay, next up is Radiant Silvergun. Another game I've been waiting for a very long time. Limited run. I don't know if you get any limited run games these days, do you? No, not really.
No.
But I do look at their website from time to time and just think, man, these guys are magical, the stuff that they find and release.
Sometimes.
I love that they're doing their thing.
I know they just were advertise Cosmic Fantasy. Me and Andrew were talking about that. We're like, what the heck? Cosmic Fantasy's coming out?
I never would have thought anybody would have thought to release Cosmic Fantasy. Of all the obscure stuff from Japan, wow.
Yeah,
amazing.
But the problem is, you have to wait a long time. So I've been waiting for Radiant Silvergun. Great shooter. It was an arcade game. Then it went to the Saturn. And now we get it on the Switch, which is great. I don't even know how long I've been waiting for this game. And also about Cosmic Fantasy, I ordered that. And it's next December you'll get it.
Oh, wow.
That's the problem with limited run. You're waiting such a long time for these games to finally come out.
Limited run, unlimited wait.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of which, Castlevania Advanced Collection. Now, what are your memories of playing these games?
So I never had a DS back in the day.
Yeah.
So I could think the first time I played was probably Aria of Sorrow,
Yeah.
and it would have been on your DS.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
And I thought, man, this is such an amazing Symphony of the Night type vibe.
Yeah.
Why am I not playing this stuff?
Yeah.
But I never really had use for a portable console.
Yeah.
So I kind of missed it all out, except for maybe emulation. I think I eventually played Aria of Sorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely have this one on my radar. Probably will get it on the Switch too.
I'm loving the collections that we're getting. The Contra Collection, the Castlevania Collection.
And I got both of those already, yes.
So you did get that, yeah. For us growing up, these were our games. And I have all of these games up here on the DS and all of that. And so this really means something to me to pick this up. And something I'm going to break into something else that's not a game, but because we're on to Castlevania, I picked this up from the official Konami store. This is not sponsored by Konami. It's just something that I want to get. Hold that up.
Here we go.
Look at this. Here we go. This is, look at it, it's a big blanket of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the castle itself.
This castle is different than I remember it.
And it's so amazing. I sat during Christmas time, I had this wrapped around me while I was playing my games, and I'm like, this is such a cool comfort thing and such a wild thing to get as well.
This castle is a creature of chaos. It may take many incarnations.
And how many people would look at that blanket and have no idea what was going on? It's not like a picture of an animal or something. It's literally a map from a video game.
I know, but people are like, what the heck is that? What's going on there?
But the people who know, they get it.
The people who know get it.
Good luck.
All right, let's just throw another weird thing in. This is something from me and Andrew's time that it's opened, and I've been listening to this a lot during Christmas, and that is the Valas Collection soundtrack vinyl right here. Like, look at this. This is just... Isn't that amazing with all the artwork? Beautiful stuff. I love it. It's so the late 80s, early 90s stuff and stuff that we really adored. And I think we can both say that Valas is not a great game.
No, Valas is one of those weird ones where we remember it and you think back and then you play it and you're like, ooh, this is not what I thought it was. Why do I have such a vividly great memory of this when the reality looks like this?
Yeah.
It's a weird disconnect, but I love that we have this fond memory that's maybe unjustified, but it's still a cool, great memory.
Yeah. Like, I always remember being in my basement playing Valas 3 with our friend Dave. A semi-friend Dave, we call him. You know, type of thing. And that's the soundtrack that I listen to the most. Valas 1 and 2, I don't really have anything with the music there. Valas 3's music, it was like the start of my birthday weekend. And Kim's like, oh, what do you want to do? I made a drink and I listened to Valas 3.
Nice.
Why? Why though? I just couldn't help it. It was just like I had to go and take that lightning rod back to the past with that music, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, Valas 3, it's not a great game, but it's such a treasured memory from our childhood.
You still had a great moment.
Yeah, it was really a little bit of fun. Okay, do you have any memories with this? Tales of Symphonia. This is the remastered version on the Switch. What are your thoughts about this?
So I think the first time I saw it, you had, was it the GameCube version?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I had even heard of the Tales series.
Yeah.
And I really liked the side combat, the real-time combat, and I've gone on to get all of the Tales games since then, including Tales of Symphonia on the PC, on Steam, but I like these games. These are really great games.
You know what's so crazy about me? And people will be like, this is a controversial take. I don't particularly like Tales of Symphonia.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was actually our friend Gary who picked it up first on the GameCube, and that was such a hype game. It was like, oh my god, an RPG, you know, finally on the GameCube. And then I played it, and I was like, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I didn't particularly fall in love with it. But now it's like kind of nostalgic, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get that. You know, it's like one of those things. But I like the Tales games in general. I think they've gotten better over time. But I thought this one was a bit rough around the edges. One game here that is not rough around the edges. I bought the digital copy. Me and Kim talked about it in an earlier episode. And that is World of Horror. I finally was able to get a physical copy. Look at this artwork on there. Isn't that amazing?
I had never heard of this until I saw you and Kim talk about it on the show.
Yeah.
But it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Really cool to hold a physical copy in my hand.
I know. It's like all drawn in MS Paint by one man. It's crazy. Like somebody sat down and did that. And I think that's the charm of the game. It's got this hand feel to it. You know, you can kind of relate to it. You know, the artwork is amazing. It's like something like the Ito guy. Do you ever?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Did you ever read any of his stuff? I got all the books in the other room.
I remember you showed me one of his manga once upon a time. So yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Really creepy stuff, and this game is really creepy. Okay, so here's something I got to talk to you about. I've got a bit of a thing on the Switch.
Okay.
I'm trying to have a small collection of shooters. Of side view shooters or overhead shooters. We call them shooters. Everybody calls them shmups. Whatever. And I'm really enjoying collecting shooters. This is the Telenet shooting collection here, with games like Gyres on here, Granada, Avenger, Psychic Storm. They're really cool old shooter games. I mean, they're novel and all that, but I really love collecting shooters, and I think
shooters have always been your thing, though, forever. I mean, just look at the PC Engine collection. You're a nuthead.
Yeah. Shooters never been your thing.
I never really had the coordination, quite frankly. It was a little bit too
But
twitch.
you would play R-Type back in the day.
Yeah, but I guess it's like anything. If you play it enough and you get into a groove and you learn the patterns, you can do it. I just never really grokked.
I'm not saying I'm amazing at these games by any means.
You were really good
on some of them not so good. We were playing Ray Zamber the other day, 3, and we were not doing so good at that.
And then when shooters became bullet hell, they just completely lost the plot as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
It was just too frenetic, too much. I couldn't keep up. But yeah, a lot of fond memories of Gyres on the Genesis.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. That was a big deal game at the time, for sure. Okay, I've got to ask your opinion on this because I don't know. Sea of Stars had to pick up the Japanese version of it. Look at this nice box version.
Oh wow, it's like an NES
It's sold out, and I had to wait for it to come back into stock so I could order it, and I finally got it. I wanted this box version. Have you played this game?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yep. So in the lead up to Starfield, I needed something to fill the void.
Yeah.
And it released on Game Pass.
Right.
In, I don't know how many weeks before Starfield.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely picked it up. Basically because of your recommendation.
Yes.
I hadn't really heard of it until you talked about it on the show.
Yeah, Kim, yeah.
And it delivered. It was every bit of a Chrono Trigger inspired kind of game. It was great.
It was really great. The pixel graphics at times, I was like, even at the end of the game, I was still impressed.
Yeah, and they did one of the best implementations I've ever seen of like 2D, 3D.
Yes.
So everything is two-dimensional sprites, but the way they figured out how to overlay and underlay stuff, in many ways it almost behaves like a three-dimensional world.
It's true. It really, like if you're looking for an RPG, you like the old school stuff, I think you've already picked this up, or you've already downloaded it and you're trying it out. A game that does look like a AAA pixelated style of game. It's not just like an indie game that was kind of good. Right. They really put a lot of effort into this one. I picked up a copy of Wave Race, and people will be like, why? I think you have been questioning.
I was. When I saw that on the table yesterday, I was like, Wave Race, really?
Yeah. Do you know what it is? I know that the analog 4K N64 is going to come out in the future, and I didn't have this copy, and I'm like, I better buy it while it's cheap now, because all N64 prices are going to go up. Even the Analog Duo came out, and all of a sudden the prices went up on all the TurboGrafx PC Engine stuff. Yeah. That's just something that's happened in the last 3 weeks. And so I wanted to get this because I have a fond memory of me and Rob and Satan, hiking up in the snow to Blockbuster Video, renting this because we just first had an N64, so we're like, oh my God, let's go. We needed every game we could get for it. Came back, and we were just like, we're going, look at the water physics.
Yeah, it's funny. I never really resonated with Wave Race the way you guys did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely remember the water and being blown away by the water.
Yeah, and you look at it now and it looks medieval. You're like, what? Like that's a thing? But yeah, we really liked this back in the day. Okay, a couple of last items here. Another gift from Kim for Christmas. These are really 80s gifts here, which I really, really like. Kim got me the Last Starfighter in 4K.
Wow.
And I know that you are a big fan of this movie. You used to quote it all the time back in the day.
Defend the frontier against Zur and the Codan Armada. What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You were recruited by the Starling to defend
the frontier against Zur and the Codan Armada.
This was a really big movie for us growing up and things like this. It influenced a whole different generation. It even influenced Ernie Klein doing Ready Player One. This was an inspiration into that as well.
Yes! Got it!
What a movie. I haven't watched it. We'll probably pop this open in the next couple of days and check it out all that grain.
And we'll have to see how the CG holds up.
Oh, no, it won't. It won't.
But it might hold up with a nostalgic tint. We'll just have to see, because it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, this is a really good, old, fun movie. If you want to check something out from the 80s, you don't get more 80s than this.
Get ready. Prepare for blast off.
The last item, and this is something that I bought for myself. A friend of mine owns this horror store, and I went in there and I like to support him and all of that. And I saw this up on the shelf, and I could have got it off Amazon, but I wanted to support my friend. And that is, me and Andrew adore this movie, Conan the Barbarian. This is the official story of the film, and I get to show you, Andrew, look at this book. It's all production photos from back in the day. You know, production artwork. You know, by Ron Cobb. You know, rest in peace. He was such a great designer and stuff. He was actually in the film.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a guy who says, like, I know nothing.
I know nothing.
We're talking about Ron Cobb. One of the designers was in the movie and all of that. And so, yeah, look at this.
Oh, look at the art.
Yeah, I mean, just fantastic stuff. And we adore the movie. Like, Conan is just one of those movies that is one of the best revenge stories. It's the only movie that me and Kim disagree on. Oh, and I'm going to be stereotypical here. I think it's really catered towards guys in a way. Kim has watched it twice, and she says, "Yeah, I kind of like it," but she doesn't love it. Like I'm obsessed with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is a brutal movie, so I can see how it doesn't resonate with everybody. But yeah, man, don't tell us you don't like Conan. That's not a good recipe.
Blasphemy.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women. That is good.
So these are some good items, and it was just so good to have you on the show to talk about them, to back up some of my stories from back in the day. And I'm just like making stuff up, going, "Oh yeah, I like Valas back in the day." You know, it's nice to have you here for that. So guys, we'll ask you, what have you picked up lately in the way of new game stuff? And one final reminder to get the limited edition shirt from Asian Shock. Link down below. There's 1 week left, and then it's gone forever. Anyways, guys, until next time.